Alrighty, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric, and today we're going to do part 2, right? Today is Friday, the 28th of February, the end of the month, guys, and tomorrow is the 1st. But we're going to talk about floor planning, tools, and having the right attitude. I know. Stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back. If you didn't already know it, my name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday. Yes, you have made it to the end of the week, and for you guys to get paid weekly, it's payday. For everybody else, you gotta wait another week. So, what are we talking about today? Today is just going to be a continuation of what we were talking about yesterday, and that is the feasibility of starting a small engine repair or even any other business for that fact during these climates. And we're still in the dog days, right? And the dog days are where work is few and far between. And dog days happen for a number of reasons, but for a small engine repair shop, it's usually that there's not a lot going on. And in our area during the winter months, we haven't hardly seen a lot of snow in the last few years, so we're not slammed with working on other people's snowblowers. We've had a couple, but it's been like rewinds busted. Uh, One was a belt, chewed the belt right up because the augers were froze. But for the most part, it's pretty doggedy. And I normally will take and line up through the winter months, small farm tractors to do a number of different things to it, whether it's complete engine rebuild, clutch replacement, rear seals in the axle, you name it, PTO issues. But that's what I normally line up for Claude and I for the winter months so that you're not getting paid on a weekly basis, but it's money in the bank, It may take 2 to 3 weeks to do a job on one of those pieces of equipment, but then the payday is where it recoups the money, right? But even this year has been slow. My phone and Messenger has been blowing up recently of people asking about wanting to get stuff worked on their small tractors. And a lot of it is the 6 to 12 volt conversion. We've got one that supposedly was running great, but now they can't get it to run. But each and every one of them isn't until like April, May when the snow resends so that you can get at it. And because once the snow's gone, you have the mud. Yeah. And the mud is just as bad as the snow because it's just going to tear everything apart trying to get to the piece of equipment. So we have to wait for it to dry up some and get through the mud season before we can take on these jobs. There's a couple of them that are in garages that they said once they could get the snow down, they would give us a call and we could come out and load them on the trailer and bring them back. All right, so let's start off with floor planning. Is floor planning a viable way to go? And it all depends upon what your comfort level is. If you're where a lot of eyes can see you, floor planning becomes more feasible. If you don't mind carrying a large debt load, floor planning is very feasible. But you have to play the smart game. And as I was saying yesterday, a lot of places are not willing to take the old one in on trade. So what ends up happening is, because our customers always come to us first and want to know, can you order us a brand new one? And the answer most of the time is yes. Unless it's a John Deere, most of the other ones I can get brand new in here in a heartbeat. We are dealers for them, but we are a non-stocking dealer. So we don't get the discounts or the favoritism from people that are floor planning. Because let's be honest, the distributors and manufacturers love the floor planners because there's an outlet for their stuff. And when you floor plan, times have changed. Before, if you became a dealer, they would supply you with so many units to put on your lot. And as they sold, you sent the money to them or they collected the money and replaced it, right? So that at best, they always owned, it was sitting in the yard. You didn't have a loan out on them, right? But it changed in that the manufacturers and the distributors wanted to sell product. And some of the dealers really weren't pushing hard their product. So what they ended up doing was they changed how it was. And that is the dealer now buys their product and then sells it. And it's through GE Finance is usually where most of them go. And at the very least, they're paying interest after so many months on all those units. And what I see time after time with these dealers is they have machines that have never been uncrated sitting on their back lot. And I'm thinking, how long have they been sitting there? Because I've seen some that 4 or 5 years down the road are still sitting in crates in back of their shops. You can't be in business and have loans out if all your profit is sitting still in the boxes of things not taken down and moved. And I'm sorry, when you start getting towards where your next preseason order is going to start coming in, your floor planning, because it's on a yearly basis, you need to dump the product you have and make room for the new product. I'm serious. Because that product that you have that's still in those crates is going to devalue every year unless you plan on keeping it for 50, 60 years and selling it new old stock, brand new, ancient, vintage lawnmower or snowblower. So you need to move all the product as fast as you can before the following season of your orders. And if you find that you only are selling 20 units on average, order just the 20 units, not the 25 that they want you to order. Just stick with your guns and your gut of what you think is possible, not what you would hope to end up with. Because if we used our own, what we wish would happen, we could order 100 units and wish that they could all be sold. But that's not realistic. What's realistic is we sold 12 snowblowers last year. And the year before we sold 10. That tells me that you need to order between 10 and 12 snowblowers and concentrate on the ones that sell. You know, each area is different. If I find that a lot of times the closer you get into the cities, they don't use snow blowers per se. They have like the sweepers that they can push the snow with. Are there some people that have the big snow blowers? Yeah. My sister-in-law lives down in Yonkers, and there's one guy that's got a regular snowblower that everybody's got up here, but other than that, the rest of the group on the block either have the pushers, sweepers, or snow shovels. But when they get a heavy dump, the one with the snowblower goes around and opens up sidewalks and everything else for everybody for a fee. But you need to know your market. You need to know who your customer is, and you need to be realistic about how many you think you can sell. Not how many you wish you could sell. It's how many do you think you can sell. And the numbers have to add up. If you're floor planning and you're paying interest on that money that you borrowed for that equipment, how much profit is there? Because a lot of dealers now are not taking trade-ins. Most dealers do not want your old unit, because there's nickel and dime in you. And some of our better customers, when they come to us, it's because the place that they want to do business will not take their trade. And I already know the history of their lawnmower or snowblower. Why? Because I see it every year. I can tell you the customers that take care of their stuff and the ones that trash it, that has no value whatsoever to them. And for the ones that take care of it, yes, I will buy it for the right price. And most often, I'll pay a little bit more than what they would get anywhere else. Because I know the history of the snowblower, and I can give somewhat of a threshold warranty on it. And I'm just kidding with threshold, which means it's got a warranty until it leaves the shop. The stuff that I know, unless I see someone that buys it and brings it back and I can see where they are trashing it, that's not going to get warranty. But if it's something, a belt or something like that, yeah, I'll take care of it. So you really have to put your pencil to the paper on this. Do you have enough walk-ins to justify having a floor plan? And the floor plan could be units, whether it be riding lawnmowers, push mowers, snow blowers, Honda engines, Kohler engines, Briggs engines. The list goes on. But what I can tell you right now, unless you have somebody that is a true blue Briggs, Kohler, or Honda guy, they're headed for Harbor Freight to buy their engines, which are coming in from China. And they're half of what the other manufacturers are trying to get out of them. So just be careful on that. All right, so the second part of 3 parts is the tools don't make the mechanic makes the tools. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you could have the best Snap-on toolbox, the best Snap-on tools, air, impacts, everything else, and be a shoddy mechanic. It does not make you a mechanic because you have the pretty tools. Not even close. Not even close. A mechanic, to me, has had years of experience of doing it the right way. Not poorly, the right way. They take great care in doing the work, and they take great pride in it, of putting out a quality product every time, and understanding their limitations, and that they have to evolve on an ever-changing basis because the manufacturers are changing up things. Like your mechanic of today, it's got to be a little old school, but also new school. That's the key. You need to keep up with the newer technology if you want to stay in business and be a mechanic for long term. You don't need a lot of tools. Those will come in time. I've got videos. Look back through the educational videos on the tools that I suggest you get to start out with. And most of them, even including the toolbox, are under a couple $100. You're not talking a big chest one. I'm talking just a regular little toolbox that sits on the bench. couple $100. But the key is, unless you're a good mechanic, you don't know how to use the tools, or even what you're looking for, and how to break it down to where is it. Because I'll be honest with you, there's sometimes that, especially electrical, you have to hand pack checking to see where the issue is coming from. You have to be the doctor diagnosing someone with an illness. Where is the problem? Is it a safety switch? Is it a coil breaking down? The flywheel magnet's coming loose. The coil, the distance between the coil and the flywheel. Is there an issue there? The list can go on. Valves out of adjustment. The wiper ring gone in your engine. You need to be able to diagnose and repair equipment in a timely fashion, right? And if you've watched any of our videos, we talked about straight time, where it's flat rate of where the manufacturer pays you so much per allotted time to get that job done for warranty. And good mechanics can make money. Poor mechanics can go backwards. All right? And until you become a good mechanic, you're not going to make any money on flat rate. And we've talked about not learning off your customer's back too, right? And that leads into trade schools and stuff. What is the best way to become a good mechanic? And if you can have the best of all worlds, it's teaming up with an older mechanic, asking questions, and then zipping it. Listen and watch how they do things. The other is trade schools. And Briggs, Kohler, they all have them where you can go to theirs for, it's like a weekend or an all-day event to learn what the newer stuff is and how to diagnose it and what to look for. And if you're an old school mechanic that isn't willing to learn the newer stuff, then you're going to get left behind unless you concentrate on the older stuff. But you can only learn just so much from a book. You got to do hands-on. And if you don't have that other mechanic or have that mechanic showing you the way, then I would suggest start tearing things apart and seeing how they work and putting them back together. I know a lot of people that can tear stuff apart, but when it comes to putting things back together, it just doesn't happen. Right? So that's going to bring to the final point, and that is attitude. You got to have a positive attitude, even when, because things aren't always going to go your way. Learn that right off the bat. Learn that you're going to have bad days and realize that it's a bad day and it's not a life sentence. If you let Joe Schmo that came in that morning and complained about the bill ruin your whole day, then you need an attitude adjustment. Because you don't know. Joe Schmo may have had problems at home, him and his wife, when he left in the morning, and you're getting some of that feedback, right? But you can't take things personal. What you can take personal is the quality of work that you're putting out of your shop. And you can't please all the people all the time. I'm telling you right now, I don't care how good a mechanic or how good a shop you are, you're going to miss things at times. You're going to get that customer that no matter what you do is not good enough. But you have to rise to the occasion and keep moving forward. If you want to see growth, you have to keep moving forward and look for opportunities and jump on them when they present themselves. You know, the old saying of firstest with the mostest does ring true. If you could think outside the box of ways to increase sales, increase repair work coming in, any of these things, and you're the only one doing it, you're going to turn out all right. If you wait and then you jump on the bandwagon after it's tried and true, a lot of times you're going to miss the boat. So on that note, you guys have a great Friday and a great weekend. I plan on hopefully being able to do a video Saturday and Sunday. We'll see how the days go. We're supposed to get another 6 to 10 inches of snow. I've already got 5 inches of thick ice on top of these roofs and snow on top of that. But thank goodness we just had 3 days of it up towards 40 where it was melting and lowered it before this next dump comes in. But on that note, you guys have a great Friday. And thanks so much for watching.